Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. Welcome to the kickoff for Eye on the Prize. I'm Michelle Glaze, Director of Professional Outreach, and we are very excited to launch this new and unique challenge in which students, alumni, faculty, and any individual who wants to represent their alma mater can create a team and compete against rival schools in support of a great cause, which is the Foundation Fighting Blindness. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the foundation, just a short background. The foundation's been around for 50 years. Our mission is to drive research to find treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases. And with March Madness upon us, we thought what a fun time to kick off an event in which schools and colleges can compete against each other in line with the March Madness theme, move up in the brackets, support a great cause, and win some fun prizes and bragging rights in the process. So I have been with the foundation since 2019. I work on the professional outreach team, and our mission and charter is to raise awareness about resources available for individuals with inherited retinal disease across the nation. We've had the opportunity to connect with many students and residents through some of the work that we've done with schools and colleges of optometry and universities, and it's been really fun. Part of what helped to get this idea of Eye on the Prize up and in motion. I also have a very special connection to the mission of the Foundation Fighting Blindness. While I am obviously on the team, I am also an individual who's impacted by an inherited retinal disease. I was clinically diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa in 2004. And as you can imagine, the moment that diagnosis is delivered, it changes your present and your future. Many individuals go through a variety of different emotions. For me, it was anger, fear, devastation. I often wondered at first how I would continue on being a good parent, a good partner. How would I continue doing the things that I enjoy? How would I continue on with my profession? And luckily, I got connected to the Foundation Fighting Blindness through a fundraising event called Vision Walk. And I learned about all the wonderful work that the Foundation Fighting Blindness is doing and the way of driving research to find treatments and cures for these diseases. So through Eye on the Prize, you all will have the opportunity to also support the mission of the foundation. As you can imagine, clinical research takes a lot of money. We support genetic testing and have a no-cost genetic testing program, which also costs a lot of money. So we do rely on grassroots fundraising efforts in order to continue to move treatments and cures along the path to FDA approval. So we're excited to get you involved and pumped up. Tonight during this presentation, you're going to hear a little bit more about the foundation. You're going to hear a lot more about Eye on the Prize, how to get involved, how to form a team, what the prize packages are. And then we're hoping that you are all pumped up and ready to just get into motion and start moving up your team up through the ranks. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Ben Shaberman, Senior Director of Scientific Outreach. Take it away, Ben.
Well, thanks, Michelle, and thanks to all of you out there for bringing your collegiate spirit to driving our mission to find treatments and cures for retinal diseases. We really appreciate it. We hope you raise a lot of money and have fun in the process. So my connection to March Madness goes way back when I was in college, back to 1986, when my beloved Cleveland State University Vikings made it to the Sweet 16. I think that was the first time we even made it to the tournament. But we did lose to Navy 71-70, heartbreaking loss. And Navy was then led by David Robinson, who would become an NBA superstar with the San Antonio Spurs. So that's my connection to March Madness, and I'm hoping the Vikings can get in the tournament this year. They're toward the top of their division. So, as Michelle said, the Foundation Fighting Blindness, our mission is to find treatments and cures for retinal diseases like retinitis pigmentosa, Stargardt disease, Usher syndrome, and age-related macular degeneration, to name a few. I'm proud to say we are the largest funder of research for these conditions, private funder, and we've raised more than $850 million toward our mission. And we were founded back in 1971. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary. And back then, we were founded by a small group of families who were trying to find answers for these conditions. Back then, virtually nothing was known about the conditions. There wasn't much known about the retina, even. So we've come a long way. And now there are more than 40 clinical trials underway for promising treatments. But we were the families that founded us included Gordon and Luli Gund and Ben and Beverly Berman. And what's interesting is Gordon has had a connection to sports really throughout his entire life. I don't think many people know that our beloved rock star Gordon played hockey when he was at Harvard. And after he got out of college and moved into the business world, he owned the Minnesota North Stars and also the San Jose Sharks. But what's really exciting for me as a kid from Cleveland is he bought the Cleveland Cavaliers NBA basketball team in 1983. He was the guy who drafted LeBron James in 2003, and then in 2016 he brought the Cavaliers won the NBA World Championship. It was the first major championship for Cleveland in any sport in several decades. So it was an exciting time, and I'm so glad Gordon could be a part of that. So again, as I mentioned, we're at a very exciting juncture in research for these treatments and cures. Again, more than 40 clinical trials. We fund research, some really innovative approaches like gene therapies, gene editing. With gene therapies, you're replacing the mutated gene with a healthy gene. Gene editing, you have like a molecular scissors to cut out the mutation. We fund cell therapy so we can grow new retina cells to restore vision. And we also fund small molecules, drugs that you can put in the eye or take by mouth to hopefully slow the progression. All of these are in clinical trials. We're working really hard to get them across the finish line. And one thing that we do really well, I think is important for you fundraisers out there to know, is we move treatments into clinical trials so we can attract investments from big biotechs and big pharma. Clinical trials cost hundreds of millions of dollars. We can't afford the entire clinical trial. But if we can get it into an early stage clinical trial and attract these outside investments, that's the way we're going to get treatments and cures across the finish line. So our biggest breakthrough, I have a feeling many of you out there know about it, is Luxturna. It was the first gene therapy ever approved by the FDA for an inherited condition or the eye. And this therapy is specifically for people who have mutations in a gene called RPE65. Those people have really significant vision loss. But the therapy, it's called, again, Luxturna, has restored significant vision to these kids and young adults who have this condition. These kids, after getting the therapy, were able to put away their white canes. They could see the faces of their loved ones, and many could even see stars in the sky and fireflies. So a really important breakthrough for us. And what's really been important about that breakthrough is it showed the researchers and companies in our field that gene therapy was an effective way to address these conditions. And it's just helping attract a lot of companies and researchers for their investments to bring more treatments into clinical trials and across the finish line. So with that, I am going to well, actually, my colleague Chris is going to show you a video. I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen so Chris can share his. But this video is about a kid, Jack Hogan, who was able to benefit from Luxturna. So, Chris, you want to show the video, please?
When you find out that your son's going to lose his sight, you obviously just want him to be able to see everything and anything that he could.
14-year-old Jack sits at the kitchen table with his mother, Jeanette.
My thought was, we have to go to Disneyland, we have to go see trees, we have to go to parks, we have to watch every movie that I ever want him to see, because in my eyes that he was going to go blind and he wasn't going to be able to see.
Jack rides his bicycle down the street in front of his parents' house, something he couldn't do well before.
Knowing that there was no cure, I felt there had to be something. So that's when we found the foundation Fighting Blindness.
A drone flies up through the clouds, revealing the skyline of San Francisco.
I currently serve as the chair of the Scientific Advisory Board for the Foundation Fighting Blindness, really the premier scientists that are doing research in the field of inherited retinal degenerations.
Dr. Jackie Duncan sits at her laboratory imaging room at UCSF.
Every year, really, I think we learn a little more about ways that vision might be potentially restored to patients, or that we might be able to intervene in a disease course such that we keep vision alive longer.
My eyes didn't just get better in one night. It was over time. It gradually got better.
I wouldn't have met Dr. Pierce had it not been for the foundation. We had told him that as soon as it was FDA approved, we would be your first patient. And Jack was his first patient.
Various news articles tell the story of Jack receiving Luxturna and gaining eyesight.
I don't have to hold on to my friend's shoulders anymore when I go to a movie theater or go outside at night.
It is a really rapidly evolving field. The success of recent treatments leading to the first FDA-approved gene therapy, and certainly in all of ophthalmology, has led to a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and excitement and interest in the field.
Jack shows us how he can play basketball in his backyard now. He makes a basket.
The surgery is definitely successful. Jack can see a whole lot more. He can see in the dark. He has better peripheral vision. He's a lot more confident. He's a lot happier, I think. Smiles sometimes. Yeah, right now he's normal because he'll be punished after this, like every other teenager not listening to his mother.
She's 100% right.
Visit fightingblindness.org to learn how you can help us shed a light on treatments for blindness.
Great. Thanks, Chris. And two things I'll add about that video. One, the clinic or the research center that Jack was treated at is Mass Eye and Ear in Boston. That was the first ever research center funded by the foundation back in the early 70s. And we also invested $10 million in lab research that helped make what became Luxturna move into a clinical trial. So very exciting. And it's just great to see us changing lives. Okay, so on to our next slide here.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Hi, my name is Nathan Klicky. I'm the director of chapter engagement for the West, and I'm going to share the next slide here. Like Ben was saying, in order to keep funding research, we need your help, but we're trying to make it fun. So we've created this really neat initiative called Eye on the Prize, where we encourage you to form teams to represent your schools. And we say it's a collegiate competition, but we welcome high school teams from across the country, alumni, faculty, supporters, everybody's welcome. Just pick a team, sign up on the website, sign up and compete against the other teams. If you see another school out there that is a rival of your school, challenge them, go head to head with them and see who can raise the most money. To be part of this mission, it's easy. You can sign up today on our website and begin building your team. And something really cool, just like the real Final Four, we're going to award our top 4 teams. We've got some great prizes. I don't want to share those. It's not my thing to share. So I'm going to pass it over to Bailey to really highlight the cool prizes we have for our winning teams.
Thanks, Nathan. I'm Bailey Bostelman. I'm the Director of Chapter Engagement for the East. So like Nathan alluded to, is we have some really great incentives for our top 4 teams. So our final 4 are going to be awarded 4 various levels of prize packs. So our number one team is going to be awarded a pizza party, a trophy, t-shirts, koozies, a mini basketball with a hoop, and they're also going to have the opportunity to be featured on our foundation website with a write-up about their team and their school that they're representing. Our second place team is going to be awarded a t-shirt, koozies, and the mini basketball hoop. And then our third team is going to receive the t-shirt and the koozies. And then our last fourth place team is going to receive those koozies. So we have a lot of really great prizes. Everything will have nice branding on it, and it'll really be a great way to celebrate your success with the Final Four tournament. And then this is just going to be an example of what these t-shirts are going to look like. We really want to make sure that we're able to feature the winning school. This is a great way to celebrate your university or your college or your group that you've gotten together to really come out and, show the support of the foundation. We want to make sure that you can wear this around your campus, around your town, and really celebrate the success that you all accomplished. And we do have a few rules and regulations that we wanted to take some time and touch on. So teams may be comprised of 25 members. We are flexible on this number, however, so don't feel hesitant if you have 30 members who want to participate. Let us know and we can make sure to make those adjustments. But we want to make sure that across the board that we keep it a pretty fair competition. And say that you have 50 or 100 participants who are interested, feel free to create multiple teams in order to be able to accommodate that. If you have maybe a Greek organization or a social organization who wants to participate, they can be their own little team. And then you have your professional organization can be part of that team as well. And then one regulation that we wanted to touch on that is going to be how you can qualify for one of those prize packs that we talked about. So the individual team members of the winning team must raise a minimum of $100 by March 31st in order to receive one. So what that means is if you have, say, 25 members on that team, that we want to, everyone on that team who raises that $100 threshold, they will be able to qualify for that prize pack if you're on that winning team. And then I'm going to hand it over to Steve Soroka, who's going to share with you some DIY ideas about how to reach these goals.
Steve, you're muted. Still, there you go.
I know. Sorry about that, guys. I had my screen open to do this presentation. Anyway, thank you so much for all you for joining us today. We are really excited about this new event, and I love March Madness. So these are some ideas that you can all do both as live events in person, or depending on what the restrictions are at your institution, or having to do it virtually. So let's start out with our in-person live events. We hope that we can get everybody together to do that. Just some options for you, but we have a whole host of others. You can do a pie in the sky with a pie for your mascot, buying dollars or buying tokens to throw pie at your mascot for a certain donation, a campus carnival, including like a dunk booth. We have all sorts of games, do a bags tournament. A mini basketball tournament would be a really cool thing to tie in with March Madness. Other sports options might be kickball, soccer, football, depending on whatever options you have at your location. Bags, cornhole is another big option that's popular nowadays. A video game competition, also board games, old school board games that get people together. Also, March Madness bingo and trivia, that could be both in person or virtual. So there's some options there. Host a sip and paint event. That's become really popular, especially now with being virtual in a virtual environment, but especially if you can stay distanced at a location where you can set up maybe something for painting. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Bob Ross, who was really popular back in my day on public television, and he's become very popular now as an online artist who kind of walks you through the steps. That would be a really cool thing. That's pretty popular nowadays. Swing for sight. This is if you can want to get your frustrations out with the school year. Find some sort of car or some sort of vehicle or something, and make sure you have some insurance, but we can maybe work with that. A sledgehammer to your car. That was one of our more outrageous ideas. A movie night. Sell tickets for an on-campus movie. A lot of the theaters nowadays are looking for people to come back, and maybe you can reserve, especially if it's a school, a classroom with a screen, that you can maybe reserve that. One of the coolest things, this is off track, but everybody that's from our staff knows I like to tell stories. Back in the day, as you see, I went to University of Illinois, and Risky Business was a big movie back then with Tom Cruise. And he's going through the registration process for all these fancy big schools for the Ivy League schools. And his backup plan, as you find out in the movie, he turns to the screen and goes, well, it looks like it's going to be the University of Illinois. And the place that I saw that at school erupted, that we were the very last resort for Tom Cruise in that movie. So a movie night, you can sell tickets on campus, as I said. Themed dress-up nights, restaurant spirit nights. That's a really easy one, that if you have a local restaurant that might be able to offer a really good discount or give you a cut of the profits of their evening, you can do several of those on campus. That's a really good one to do, especially if nowadays when restaurants are really trying to get people in the doors. That would be an option for you. Or a bar or a restaurant crawl. Making sure that you are definitely have to be 21 to do that one. I don't want anybody breaking any rules, but that's a really great option back in the day as well. Now for some of the virtual activities that you might be interested in, we have March Madness obviously coming up, so maybe selling squares to March Madness. Our foundation is doing that internally. Selling handmade crafts, again, the virtual sip and paint, bingo. A really big one now, cooking classes that you can partake in. Those are fun, so you can maybe charge some fee, and you have some of maybe your local experts from your university who are from, if there's a cooking school or something related to that, that are taking courses in that. That might be a great way to get other departments involved on university campus. A talent show. Everybody's got some talents that they can maybe do, and you can maybe charge a fee or that. Just make it fun. Online social media challenges with TikTok and Tiltify. That's for the younger crowd to know. That I'm unfamiliar with any of those, so I'm sure you guys have some ideas on that. Scavenger hunt would be great. Social media contest for school spirit. We would love to have you guys promote your school spirit, promote the departments of ophthalmology, the Delta Gammas, any groups, the Leos from the Lions clubs. Those would all be options for that, and really get you that help to also have some fun and get your name out there. Watch parties, like I said, you can do a video, movies, shows, anything like that. And then the final one we have here, just as ideas, is a jailbreak where you would lock people up across campus, and they have to reach out to their resources and their contacts to try to bail them out with raising a certain amount of money. All of these are some options, but we really rely on you guys coming up with the best things that you can come up with, the things that you find fun on your campus, especially if it's like a local event or something like that, something that's special to your group. We'd love to hear it, and our staff is always available for you to come up with any questions, and if you need assistance, we are here to help you guys out.
Thank you, Steve. That was incredible. Ton of ideas to get you started. So what other resources do we have available for you? So on our website, we have a link to our do-it-yourself fundraising toolkit. Within this toolkit, there's fundraising ideas, there's sample fundraising letters and emails to get you reaching out to your friends and family to get your fundraising started. We have social media tips and sample posts you can edit to make your own and get out there on Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, like Steve alluded to, whatever the kids are on these days, put it out there and let them know what you're doing. So we also have weekly progress reports. We're going to be reaching out to you weekly, letting you know who's in first, who's in 16th, and how to get 16th place into first, and encourage them with some fundraising tips and tricks. We're going to meet up twice virtually during this contest. We've got a Selection Monday event and a virtual halftime check-in event. So we're really excited to bring everyone together for those two events. So with all that said, we've got these tools available on the website. You can reach out to us at any time, chapters@fightingblindness.org, and we're happy to help support your fundraising. But really, we thank you for all of your energy. And I think I'm passing it over to Bailey for our website FAQs.
Yeah, so as you all are taking the steps to log on to the page and get yourself registered, just a few things to point out that you're going to start finding as you're navigating those pages. So for tips on getting started with your fundraising, like Nathan said, there is a link on there to our Raising Our Sites DIY toolkit. This is going to share all these resources that are at your fingertips. We want you to register your team, and then once you do that, invite other students to join as well. Invite your roommates, your colleagues, anybody in your classrooms. This is a great way to get everybody involved. You can have them register with the same link, have them either start their own team or join yours. Another great thing to do is meet to discuss your fundraising plan. How are you going to reach that goal? Set yourself an attainable goal and run towards it. And along the way, if you find challenges of, how are we going to get there, feel free to reach out to one of us at the foundation, and we're more than happy to help you brainstorm ways about how you can reach that goal. And then, like was earlier mentioned, make sure to challenge your rival schools. Have this to be a competition between the two universities or colleges. Make it a really fun event. And then we'll also have a halftime meeting on February 21st, as well as Selection Monday Zoom meeting on March 14th. And this is really going to give a chance for us to update teams on the statuses, to see where everyone is ranked, and then also answer any questions that you may have had along the way. So now you're probably asking, what is next steps? What do we do now? I know we've thrown a lot of information at you, so I'm going to hand it over to Michelle Glaze to kind of talk about what is next.
Okay, thank you, Bailey. And just to kind of summarize and get everybody focused and thinking about how to move this forward, keep in mind that this is a competition that'll run from today, February 1st, through March 31st, so you have time. Go ahead and start thinking about your team. You're going to want to go to our event page and register your team. Make sure you include the school, college, or university that you're representing. Start recruiting. So get your team members together, see who's going to be involved. And then you need to go ahead and start thinking through how you want to arrange your DIY events. We have had some questions. We do multiple events, and the answer is yes. Just make sure that every event that you have created is driven to your team page. That way the donations are all coming through the same page and all going towards your team. Be creative, have fun, and we're going to keep you connected through these different check-in opportunities to let you know how you are comparing and competing with your peers. Keep in mind that this is a wonderful opportunity to support a great cause. This is a really great thing for you students out there to put on your resumes, a fantastic resume builder, some bragging rights for the winning teams, the final four, and you're helping to drive research to find treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, which means that you're helping to drive hope for patients like me who have inherited retinal diseases and vision loss as a result. So we are grateful for your interest. We're excited about this new opportunity, and we hope that you're excited to get started. With that, we'll open it up for any questions that you may have.
And we have a small enough crowd. If you just want to voice your question, no need to raise a hand or anything.
Well, Michelle, this is Allie. What are the next steps going forward? So there was this kickoff. I know we will follow up with the Classy page, and that's how we'll stay updated, but is there a next call? I'm interested in learning more about that.
Yeah, Ben, will you go back? There are actually 2 check-in calls, and I cannot see that slide. And I can't remember the date, so somebody help me, please.
The calls are, the halftime quote unquote call is on February 21st. And I believe that's a Monday, if I remember correctly. And then the second follow-up call is on Monday, March 14th.
Thank you,
happens to
Ben.
be Pi Day because it's 3/14, the PI Pi Day.
Great times to meet.
And certainly, if there are questions along the way as you're forming teams or getting started, I'm happy to help. I know that most of the members of this project team would be happy to help. So if we need to set up some one-on-one calls or things like that, we're happy to do so. So you let us know what you need from us, and we'll help any way we can, in addition to these structured calls.
No, I think that's great. So you'll send those Zoom invites, and then we can forward on?
Yes, we will.
Perfect.
Hey, Michelle, this is Linda. I have a question for you. Is it important to get the faculty involved from your school? Would you suggest doing that? Is that a requirement or something that should happen?
It's definitely not a requirement. If faculty is interested in getting involved, we certainly welcome them. As mentioned earlier, we welcome all students, alumni, faculty, individual groups that are just connected to their alma mater and want to represent their alma mater. That's fine as well. So the more the merrier.
Thanks.
And that's something that we covered earlier about inviting your rivals and things like that. Same thing with that with what we just said about staff and that. We would love to get more teams. So if you can reach out to any other contacts you might have, if you're a school of optometry, but you're also in a sorority or a fraternity or another volunteer group, the Lions and Leos, anything like that, please reach out to them as well. That would be a really great way for us to grow our outreach as well. Anyone else? Anybody have any ideas on like some other fun activities that people could put together?
I don't have a question about any activities, but I just have a question about volunteer hours. Is this something that could possibly count towards students' volunteer hours? Is it something that we can sort of credit them for if they're involved with school programs?
Good question.
Michelle. I would think so. That it's a volunteer opportunity to support a philanthropic event. And they're helping to raise awareness about the Foundation Fighting Blindness and the work that we do. So I would say absolutely.
That is a great question, especially now with people doing a lot of virtual activities. There aren't as many volunteer activities that they can get credit for. I'm sure I'm pretty sure that would qualify. Cool.
This is Dan Day. I'll just make a quick comment there too regarding that point. You'd want to be careful to check to be sure. In the past, when we've done it in relation to some other events going back ways, some places were careful to say the students could only get volunteer hours if they were not doing something that involved fundraising. So you would just want to check, make sure that restriction isn't there.
Yep, good point. Well, any other questions or comments or ideas?
This is Dan again.
As I said earlier, we are available. Oh yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just going to throw in maybe one other idea, since I played basketball when I was in school, and this is about March Madness, or it's a tie-in. You could maybe organize on campus a foul shooting contest, something like that. Have people pay to join the contest and have your own prize for the winner, and be a lot of fun for those that like the game of basketball.
Great
Indeed.
idea, Dan.
Dan, where did you play?
I played at a small branch of the University of Maine at Presque Isle.
Wow, very cool. Thanks for telling us. That's really cool.
Sure, yes. One of the reasons I feel very fortunate, though I have retinitis pigmentosa and am legally blind today, and I appreciate everyone who's going to participate helping find cures and treatments for me, but that my symptoms held off long enough that I got to play varsity basketball in college. So very, very fortunate.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Very cool. What was the Presque Isle mascot, Dan?
It was the owl. You might think it'd be,
okay.
you might think up there it would be the polar bears, but it turned out to be the owls.
Or the lobsters, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Or the fishermen, maybe.
They did have in Bangor, Maine, they had in the old Continental Basketball Association, they had a franchise there called the Lumberjacks.
Ah.
Nice.
All right. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Okay. If anything comes up, again, chapters at fightingblindness.org. Please visit the page to get your team registered and to get involved with all of to find all of the tools and the information that you need to get started. If we can help in any way, please feel free to reach out to our team. And good luck and have a great time. Thank you for your interest in getting involved.
Yeah, you guys go out and have some fun too. It's an important cause, but having fun nowadays is important since we've been under this veil of COVID. Just go out and have a great time, and you'll be supporting a great cause as you're doing it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.